Life is present on Earth from millions of years ago. It has undergone various changes since then. To understand the changes in flora and fauna that have occurred over millions of years on Earth, we must have first an understanding of the evolution of life forms. Chemical evolution produced life on the primitive Earth in reducing conditions through interaction of molecules in the water bodies. This was followed by the biological evolution or organic evolution, which gave rise to numerous kinds of organisms over the ages. The term evolution was coined by Herbert Spencer, an English philosopher, which means unfold or simply the process of continuous change. From time to time, a number of hypotheses have been put forward to explain the mechanism by which very large number of species of animals and plants emerged on Earth. There are four main theories which have been put forward to explain the mode of evolution. Origin of species. These are Lamarck's theory of the inheritance of acquired characters or Lamarckism, Darwin's theory of natural selection or Darwinism, De Vries' mutation theory, modern concept of evolution. Lamarck's theory of the inheritance of acquired characters. Lamarckism is the first theory of evolution. Lamarckism or Lamarckian inheritance is the idea that the organism can pass on characteristics that it has acquired during its lifetime to its offspring, also known as heritability of acquired characteristics or soft inheritance. It is named after the French biologist Jean-Baptiste Lamarck 1744 to 1829. This theory was put forward by a well-known French biologist Chevalier de Lamarck. He explained it in his famous book Philosophiae Zoologique in 1809. Lamarck was in the charge of the invertebrate collection at the Natural History Museum in Paris. He has done the systematic studies and given the idea that species were not fixed but were rather derived from pre-existing species by modification. This idea was in conflict with the view which was prevailing at that time, that is, spatial creation and fixity of species. Therefore, his theory was not received well. Factors of Lamarck theory. Lamarck's theory is based on three factors: new needs, acquisition of characters, inheritance of acquired characters. New needs. Environment influences all types of organisms. A change in environment brings about changes in organisms. It gives rise to new needs. New needs or desires produce new structures and change habits of the organisms. Environment means the aggregate of external circumstances, conditions and things which affect the existence and development of the organisms living there. Variation in the environment of an organism creates a new need for adapting to the change, else it will not survive. The organism has to put in special efforts to fulfill its new needs of adaptation. These efforts lead to a change in the habits or behavior of the organism. The new habits involve fresh or extensive use of certain organs or structures of the body and disuse of others. Acquisition of characters. Characters are acquired by the organism to meet the new needs in three ways: innate tendency, use and disuse of organs, and by effects of environment. Innate tendency. Evolution, that is change in species, occurs by an innate tendency towards greater and greater complexity, which he equated with perfection. As organisms attain perfection, they become better adapted to their environments. Thus, Lamarck believed that evolution responded to organisms' needs. Use and disuse of organs. Use and disuse of organs affect their form, structure and functioning. If an organ is constantly used, it would be better developed, whereas disuse of organ results in its degeneration. Continuous extensive use of the organs to cope with the environment keeps them active and makes them larger, stronger and more efficient. Continued underuse or disuse of organs gradually makes them weaker and smaller so that they tend to finally disappear. Thus, by differential use and disuse of various body parts during its lifetime, an organism would change to some extent and acquire some traits. Effects of environment. Environment affects all organisms. Variations in the environmental factors such as temperature, light, medium, food, pressure, humidity, wind, etc. affects the living things and produce changes in their bodies. The changes brought about by use and disuse of organs and by the influence of environmental factors in an individual during its lifetime are called acquired characters. Inheritance of acquired characters. The characters acquired by an individual through use and disuse of organs and through environmental influences, as explained earlier, are transmitted by heredity to the next generation. Whatever an individual acquires characters in its lifetime due to effect of environment, new need and use and disuse of organs, they are inherited, transmitted to the next generations. The process continues. After several generations, the variations are accumulated up to such extent that they give rise to new species. In every generation, fresh characters are acquired. With the result, after number of generations, the variations accumulate to the extent that the species is modified into a new one. Thus, according to Lamarck, evolution is a slow or gradual process and it occurs by accumulation of changes over generations. Hence, the existing species are the sum total of characters acquired by their predecessors in many generations. Explanation of the theory. Evolution of animals according to Lamarck's theory may be explained by citing a few examples from his own writings. Giraffe. The giraffe is a mammal with long neck and long forelimbs. It has evolved from a deer-like ancestor with small neck and small forelimbs. The ancestors of giraffe were bearing a small neck and forelimbs and were like horses. This ancestor happened to live in a barren place where leaves of the trees were the only food available to it. But as they were living in places with no surface vegetation, they had to stretch their neck and forelimbs to take the leaves for food, which resulted in the slight elongation of these parts. In making an effort to reach the leaves, it continuously stretched its neck and forelimbs. The increase acquired in one generation was transmitted to the next generation, in which further elongation occurred due to similar efforts. This process, after a number of generations, produced the present day giraffe with a long neck and long forelimbs. Other prominent examples to support the above argument are: a blacksmith acquires large biceps muscles due to daily using them for wielding heavy hammer. Rabbit spinner has well developed muscles as it is frequently moved for receiving sound waves from various directions. Aquatic birds. The aquatic birds, ducks, swans, etc. are considered to have arisen from the terrestrial ancestors. The latter has to go into water for food, protection, etc. They spread their toes widely and stretch the skin at their bases in order to rest on water. This gradually developed the webs between the toes. Snakes. The ancestors of the snakes were lizard-like reptiles with two pairs of fully developed limbs. These ancestors, out of fear of the mammals, which were larger and more powerful, started living in narrow crevices or holes and in thick vegetation. In this effort, they stretched their body to accommodate it in a narrow space and did not use the limbs. Continuous stretching of the body made it longer and cylindrical, while permanent disuse of limbs caused their disappearance. Flat fishes. They are flat and bear both the eyes on one side and live at the bottom of the water. During the embryonic stage, their eyes are present laterally, one eye on either side. The body of these fishes is not flat at this stage, but later on both the eyes is shifted to one side and the body becomes flat to withstand the pressure of water. Flightless birds. The ancestors of these birds, example ostrich, were capable of flying, but due to some environmental factors, they had plenty of food and were well protected. So, they did not use their wings, and that is why the latter become vestigial. Retractile claws of carnivorous mammals. The ancestors of carnivorous mammals such as lions, tigers, etc. had ordinary claws for tearing the flesh of their prey. As the latter gained in running, the carnivorous mammals also had to run fast, for which claws were a hindrance. The animals therefore developed retractile claws. Deer. The deer is thought to have developed its present speed through continuous efforts of running to which it resorted for protecting itself from its enemies. The ancestors of deer were not having so much speed in running, but as they needed protection from other animals of that time, they started running, due to which present speed were achieved by the deer. Cave dwellers. The ancestors of cave dwellers had normal eyesight. Cave animals have lost their eyes due to disuse in dark environment they live in. On account of living under continuous dark conditions, the animal lost their power to see. Criticism of the theory. Lamarck's theory was very successful and did much to spread the idea of evolution, but ultimately it proved faulty. It cannot be accepted fully. Its first two factors are correct. New needs are created by a change in the environment and new characters are acquired by use and disuse of organs and environmental factors. The third factor, that is inheritance of the acquired characters, is however disputable. There is evidence both against as well as in favor of the inheritance of acquired characters. Evidence against the inheritance of acquired characters. A German biologist, August Weismann, in 1834 to 1914 offered the greatest opposition to the inheritance of acquired characters. He put forward his theory of continuity of germ plasm in 1892. According to this theory, each animal consists of two types of cells: the germ cells, which contain determinants for all the hereditary characters in their nuclei, and the somatic cells, which harbor in their nuclei only the characters of a particular organ. The environment and use and disuse of organs affect the somatic cells only. They have no influence on the germ cells. This means that the acquired characters reside only in the somatic cells. The variations in the somatic cells have no effect on the germ cells. The somatic cells are mortal and perish with the death of the animal. Thus, the acquired characters vanish when the individual bearing them dies. The germ cells are immortal and are passed on intact from generation to generation. It therefore follows that the acquired characters are not inherited because they are produced by environment and not by genes. Weismann's view holds well in many cases. He cut off tails of rats for about 80 generations, but tail-less rats were never born. Boring of external ear, pinna, has been practiced by the women for thousands of years, but this character has never been inherited. European women wear tight garments to have slender waist, and Chinese women wear tight shoes to have small feet, but their children have normal waist and feet at birth. The athletes develop powerful muscles by continued use, but their musculature is not transmitted to their offspring. Children of a Nobel laureate may not be as intelligent as the parent. The heart of vertebrates beats non-stop throughout life, yet its size remains constant through many generations. All these examples prove that the characters acquired by an individual during her own lifetime are not inherited by the next generation. Evidence for the inheritance of acquired characters. Some instances against Weismann's theory have come to light, and certain experiments have shown the influence of environment on the germ cells and heredity. Formation of germ cells from somatic cells. In certain cases, the somatic cells produce the germ cells, which is against Weismann's theory. This occurs in vegetative propagation in plants and regeneration in animals. A purely somatic stem cutting or leaf sprouts into a new plant which bears flowers having germ cells. A part without reproductive organs cut off from the body of an earthworm grows into a complete individual which develops the reproductive organs or germ cells. The latter have obviously been formed from the somatic cells. Effect of environment on germ cells through somatic cells. Heslop Harrison found a melanic dark variety of moth in localities where the food plants were infected with manganese salts from the industrial smoke. He fed the pale variety of this moth on food coated with manganese salts for several generations. This ultimately produced melanic moths. These melanic moths breed through that is, gave a melanic progeny. Effect of environment directly on germ cells. Tower exposed some potato beetles to abnormal conditions of temperature and humidity at the time of development of their reproductive organs. This did not produce any change in the beetles themselves. Their offspring, however, exhibited color variations which were passed on to the succeeding generations. Effect of radiation and chemicals. X-rays and certain chemicals such as colchicines cause chromosomal changes and thereby produce inheritable variations. Morgan exposed fruit flies to X-rays and got from them offspring with remarkable changes which were passed on to the next generation. Neo-Lamarckism. The evidence for the inheritance of acquired characters received the otherwise discarded Lamarckism. The revival of Lamarckism in a modified form is called Neo-Lamarckism. Postulates. Neo-Lamarckism states that the germ cells are not always immune from the effects of environment. Germ cells may be affected directly by environment without any effect on the somatic cells, Tower's potato beetles, and germ cells may carry acquired or somatic variation to the offspring, Harrison's moth. It follows that the organism is a whole and no doubt it is made up of many organs. One organ may affect the structure and working of another organ. Environment gene interaction. It is now known that the somatic traits are the result of interaction between genes and environment. Thus, there are no acquired characters as visualized by Lamarck. Environment does affect the gene expression. Taking all the foregoing cases into consideration, it may be said that there is more evidence against than in favor of Lamarckism. Lamarckism consequently does not provide a satisfactory mechanism for evolution. However, Lamarck's contribution has popularized the concept of evolution, made biologists look for the mechanisms of organic evolution. His theory is significant in holding that evolution best explains the current diversity of life and in its emphasis on adaptation to the environment as a primary product of evolution. Lamarckism satisfactorily explains the existence of vestigial organs in animal. Conclusion. Evolution refers to the change from one form to another. Change in living organisms with time is known as organic evolution. There are many theories explaining the process of organic evolution. Lamarckism is one of that. In this program, we have learned in detail about Lamarckism.